Hello students, today is your history class and last time we seen in history chapter number 2 historiography Indian tradition. So what we discussed last time, we discussed historiography in the ancient period, historiography in the medieval period and historiography in the modern period. Today come to page number 10. We have got 2.2 Indian historiography, various ideological frameworks. Now, first is given to us colonial historiography. Now, what you mean by colonial historiography? It means the term applies to the histories of the countries colonized during that period. That period means which period? During the British period of colonial rule. Now, the early scholars who studied and wrote Indian history were mainly British officers and Christian missionaries. Now, who are missionaries? They are the people who are sent to foreign countries to teach about Christian religion. They are called as Christian missionaries. They are prejudiced. Prejudice means opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. That is called prejudice. Is clearly reflected in the way some of them have ridiculed. Ridiculed means to make fun. Okay, to make fun of what? To make fun of the Indian culture. Their writings were used to justify the colonial British rule. The 5 volumes of Cambridge History. Now, Cambridge History of India was a major work of historical scholarship published in 5 volumes. 5 different books were published by Cambridge History of India during 1922 to 1937 CE and distinct example of colonial historiography. So what do you mean by colonial historiography? This the British officers who written during the time of colonial historiography. Now, next thing, Orientalist historiography. Now, what do you mean by Orientalist? Orientalist is someone from the West who studies the language, culture, history, or custom of country in Eastern Asia. They are called as Orientalists. Many European scholars felt curious. Curious means they were very eager about civilization and countries of the East. Some of those scholars felt admiration and respect for them. These scholars were known as Orientalists. So those scholars who written during that was known as Orientalists. The Orientalists studied the similarities between Sanskrit and some of the European language. So what these thinkers did, they studied something related to Sanskrit or European languages. They focused more on Vedic tradition. Now, Vedic tradition means what? Period of the Indian history, basically the cultures and tradition of a country. And Sanskrit literature, their study resulted into formulating the notion of an ancient language. Ancient means old language that could be the mother of all Indian European language. Now, what you mean by Indian European language is a family of languages that first spread throughout Europe. In 1784, Sir William Jones founded Asiatic Society in Calcutta. Asiatic Society means to further the cause of Oriental research, to study something based on this. It opened the doors for research in ancient Indian literature and history. Among the Orientalist scholars, Friedrich Max Müller deserves a special mention. In the opinion, in his opinion, Sanskrit was the most ancient language of Indo-European language. So what he said that Sanskrit was one of the oldest language before this Indo-European language. He was deeply interested in Sanskrit literature. He was very much fond of Sanskrit literature. He first translated the Sanskrit text of Hitopadish. Hitopadish means is an Indian text in Sanskrit language consisting of fables with animals and human characters. So it was that. In a German language, he was the editor of 50 volumes of the sacred books of East. He also compiled Rig Veda. Rig Veda means the knowledge of verses, oldest sacred book of Hinduism. So it is one of the oldest book, which has been published in 6 volumes. He translated Rig Veda in German. Lately, Edwards said, a scholar who has re-evaluated means who studies again the Orientalist writings has thrown light on imperialistic interest. Imperialistic means supporting interest of Orientalist scholars. Now, next thing, nationalistic historiography. Nationalistic means that the historical writing produced or reproduced by Indian historians highlight the Indian history. That is called nationalist. The writing of Indian historians who were trained in British educational system shows an inclination. Inclination means feeling that somebody wants to behave in a particular way to restore the pride in the ancient glory of India and self esteem. Self esteem means a good opinion of your own character and abilities of Indian readers. Their writings are known as nationalistic historiography. Nationalistic writings in Maharashtra were inspired by Vishnu Shastri Chuplunkar. He criticized the prejudiced history of ancient Indian writing by British officers. The nationalist historians tried to seek the golden era. Golden era means golden period of Indian history. They are at times blamed for ignoring the critical analysis of the historical truth. Mahadev Govind Ranade, Ramkrishna Gopal Bhandarkar, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, Rajendra Lal Mishra, Ramesh Chandra Mazumdar, Kashi Prasad Jaiswal, Radha Kumud Mukherjee, Bhagwan Lal Indraji, Vasudev Vishnu Mirashi, and Anand Sadashiv Altekar are the name of some of the renowned scholars among the nationalist historians. So all these scholars were the famous scholars. Rajwade is well known for writing in Marathi on varied subject. Varied subject means what? Many subject like history, linguistic means language, etymology. Etymology means what? Is the study of history of words. Is the study of words, grammar, etc. He was of the firm opinion that we should write our own history. So he said that we have to create our own history, we have to write our own history. He compiled and edited 22 volumes of Marathansa Ityas Sadhane. He wrote very scholarly prefaces to each of the 22 volumes. He said, history is all inclusive image of the past societies. It does not include only the stories of political images, conspiracies, and wars for seizing power. He insisted that history should be written only using the authentic documentary sources. So he said that history should be written based on original documents. The nationalistic historiography helped in triggering of the independence movement of the Indian people against the British. So historiography helped in triggering, inspiring the people for India's independence against the British rule. In this aspect, the book The Indian War of Independence 1857, written by Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, is of great importance. The nationalistic historiography provided a momentum, that is a speed, to the writing of regional histories too. As a result, the attention of historians was drawn to the geographic condition and history of the South Indian region. So, studying the history of the South Indian regions also. Historiography in the post independence era, so after independence. Now, along with the writing, the dynastic histories, the cultural, social, economic histories were also being written. Scholars of post independence era began to feel the need of writing histories of various communities, science, economic system, political ideologies, cultural aspect, etc. So these new thinkers after independence, they thought of giving stress on all this aspect, that is economic system, political, science, etc. The historiography of this era has been influenced mainly by three, ide- three ideological schools, that is Marxist history, subaltern history, and feminist history. Now, first, Marxist history now. What do you mean by Marxist history? The concern for the means of production. Means of production means what? Means that are used to produce goods and services, including the social relationship between workers and technology. That's called means of production. And modes of production. Modes of production means includes the means of production used by given societies such as factories, machines, and raw material. So what Marx did, he gave importance to means of production and modes of production. And the industrial relations were at the center in the writings of Marxist historians. Accordingly, to analyze the impact of every social event of significance means important has remained the basic theme of Marxist historiography. Marx historians in India studied the transaction. Transaction means what? A change from one state to another within the caste system. So he brought a change within the caste system. Among the notable Indian historians who adopted Marxist ideological framework, scholars like Damodar Dharmanand Kosambi, Comrade Shirpat Amrut Dange, Ram Sharan Sharma, Comrade Sharad Patil have contributed notably. Comrade Dange was one of the founder members of the Indian Communist Party. Indian Communist Party is the oldest party in India, representing Marx history, history related to a history of class struggle. Then primitive communism to slavery. Slavery, the book written by him represent Marxist historiography. Now next one, subaltern history. Now what you mean by subaltern was coined by Indian scholars to describe a variety of approach to the situation of South Asia in the colonial and post-colonial era. That is called subaltern history. The need of subaltern history are found in Marxist historiography. The role of the Indian historian Antonio Grasmick is very important in developing the idea that history should be written starting from the bottommost rank of people in the society. So, according to Antonio Gramsci, he gave importance at the bottommost ranks of the people. In fact, subaltern means the bottommost rank. Folklore, traditional stories and beliefs has been considered as very important source of writing subaltern histories. Ranjit Guha, an Indian historian, played a major role in establishing subaltern history as an important academic scholar of historiography. Academic means what? A place which emphasizes on studying. However, we may point out that much before the onset of subaltern ideology, similar thoughts were expressed by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Mahatma Phule unfolded the history of Shrudda te Ati Shrudda, communities in his book Gulamgiri. So he written the book. Who Mahatma Phule, the name of the book was Gulamgiri, and he gives stress on Shudra, Te Ati Shudra. Ati Shudra means what? Lowest caste or depressed class of people. Then he drew attention to the explanation of women Shudras and Ati Shudras done under the name of religion. So during those days, how bottommost people were treated, and they were treated as Shudras. No importance were given for this people. The term Shudra and Ati Shudra indicates the bottomest rank in the caste system. The role of the people belonging to Dalit caste is very significant in shaping the various culture and political aspects of India. However, their role was not duly acknowledged in the colonial and a nationalistic historiography. So, acknowledge means what? To accept or admit that something is true or true. So during the colonial or national historiography, this Dalit caste or Shudra class were not given importance. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, focusing on this fact, consistently wrote about it. So who gave stress for Dalit? Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Who were the Shudras and the untouchables may be cited as examples of history of subaltern type. Next thing, feminist history. As the name signifies, feminist means females. So books were written to related to women. Over a significant period of time, mainly male scholars were involved in the writing of Indian history. As a result, the role and achievement of women in history remain neglected. So, women's role was neglected during this period. To highlight this fact was a major task faced by the feminist historians. Also, it was important to study and compile. Compile means to make a detailed study or to compile the studies, written writings of women. It was also necessary to rethink a woman's position in history. Among women authors writing about women in the 19th century CE, Tarabai Shinde was the foremost one who came forward. This lady, Tarabai Shinde, she came forward. She wrote attacking the male dominated social system and the caste system. Her book, Stri Purush Tulna. Tulna means what? Comparison between man and a woman. That's called Stri. Stri is a woman, Purush is a man. Okay? Published in 1882, is acknowledged and the first feminist book in India. In 1888, the book written by Pandita Ramabai was published entitled The High Caste Hindu Woman. The feminist literature of the post-independence era concentrated on the issues like employment of women. Employment means jobs for women, treatment meted out to them at their workplace, so how they were treated at their workplace, their right to political equality, they should given right in politics. Among their recently published feminist literature, Meera Kosambi's book Crossing Threshold, Feminist Essays in Social History, is of importance. It contains essays on the life stories of women like Pandita Ramabai and Dr. Rukma Bai, in the first practicing lady doctor of India. A lot of literature is available unfolding the viewpoint of Dalit women in, in Maharashtra. Dr. Sharmila Rege's work is noteworthy in this context. Her book, Writing Caste, Writing Gender, Reading Dalit Women Testimonies, includes her essays on the autobiographies of Dalit women. So this lady, Dr. Sharmila Rege, she written many books related to women. There have been number of Indian historians who wrote without embracing a particular ideology. Among them, historians like Sir Jadunath Sarkar, Surendranath Sen, Riya Satkar, G.S. Savdesai, and Chimbak Shankar Shishwadkar are noteworthy. In the recent time, historians like Yeshwant Dinkar Phadke, Ramchandra Goa, etc., have contributed extensively to the historiography of modern India. Thus, it is evident that the Indian historiography has been influenced greatly by the social and political movement. It seems that some part of the Indian historiography was also developed outside the influence of this movement. So, that was all the contribution of feminist history. So, over here, we have studied what is colonial historiography, then what is Orientalist historiography, and what is nationalistic historiography. Then, and after independence, what we studied Marxist history, subaltern history, and feminist history. Hope so, students, you have understood the lesson. I will send you the markings. Please copy the answers in your notebook. Thank you.